SBR Forums Inside the Lines is sponsored by Bookmaker.
I'm Peter Loshak, and we are speaking right now with returning guest, professional NFL handicapper Stephen O from Accuscore.com. And Stephen O, man, what another winner last week. Was it like 5 or 6 in a row? Seriously, man, what's up with you, man?
I think, I've been picking all those high probabilities with the public. It seems like the public's been right, and we've been riding that wave pretty successfully. I was a little nervous because Mason Crosby kept on missing field goals, but then he hit the one that actually covered the spread last week.
Every week you come in with another pick, and you I mean, this is not a knock on you. Value's value. Like every pick you make, it's like, yeah, this is like obvious value. The public's all over it. They win. The books get crushed. It's literally been like 5 or 6 weeks in a row now. It's been a long time. Your overall record with us must be like 7-1 or 8-2 or something like that.
I know I started 2-2, but I think I've had a push along the way. But after that, I think we've been all good.
Unbelievable. Stephen O, very impressive. I have to give you some serious props. All right. And I'll tell you what, this game that you've chosen up for this week, the Ravens at Chargers, first of all, it was by far the most requested game that anyone else requested. And I gave it to you. You picked it first. But yeah, everyone wanted this game. So I'm assuming that they all want the same side. I'm assuming that it's the same side that you're going to say, and I'm assuming it's the same side that I thought of when I first started researching this game. The Ravens at Chargers. The Chargers are at home. The line's about pick 'em. The line's 47. The Ravens, of course, winning, playing great. They're not a perfect team, but they have a winning mentality, and they're getting it done one way or another, game in and game out. Chargers losing. Rivers banged up. Offensive line is in disarray. They didn't protect him well at all in their last game against Denver. Ryan Matthews himself is banged up. So the obvious pick here is Ravens to get a win.
Yep, 74% people are already on the Ravens. I don't know if the line's going to move at all with Ed Reed's suspension being lifted, but we like the Ravens up to a 3-point spread, a 3-point advantage this week. The Chargers basically kind of stink. Against any team that's 500 or better this year, they've been clobbered by an average of 12 points a game. They've lost by at least 7 in all those games, 0-5, I believe. The Ravens are, they had that stinker against Houston, but are 4-1 against, 500 teams or better. As you pointed out, Ryan Matthews, the guy hasn't, has only gotten over 4 yards to carry once in the last 5 games. I'm an Antonio Gates fantasy owner, and I know that he hasn't had much success with Phillip Rivers this year. The deep ball's kind of gone. Rivers seems to be underthrowing, and he doesn't have Vincent Jackson out there, The Chargers just look terrible whenever they play anyone of any quality. Now, the Ravens' offense on the road has been terrible as well. But I'm just sort of gathering the fact that I don't think San Diego's going to score more than 20. And they've been allowing quite a few points at home to quality opponents like Atlanta and Denver, giving up 27 and 35. So I think I don't think Baltimore's going to be busting out for 50 on the road, but I think they're good for 23.
Yeah, and I guess, the thing I've asked you every week is, this side seems so obvious, so then why then is the line so low? And a lot of times we talk about the line being quote-unquote suspiciously low, but week in and week out, the answer has just been the line's just been off. Is that you think that's the case here? Why do you think this line is so low?
I think they're influenced by last year's. I mean, I'm a Ravens fan, and last year we went to San Diego in a similar situation. San Diego's kind of out of it, had self-inflicted wounds, and they came out and clobbered the Ravens by 20. Mm-hmm. But, I think that's actually going to play in the Ravens' favor. This year's Ravens team, even though statistically they haven't been that impressive, they've won a lot of games that last year's teams or the previous year's teams would have lost. Yeah. And after getting spanked last year by 20, they're not going to allow that to happen again this year. I think that last year's loss is why the line is, in some books, -1 in San Diego's favor, but it's also the reason why I like the Ravens to cover.
All right. Well, let me ask this one quickly before we just let you go and say, I think we got another winner this week. About the issues with Ed Reed, the suspensions, they said a illegal hit and this and that. Do you think that might cause the Ravens defense in general to be a little bit gun shy here, maybe? That they,
No, it just came over the wire like 15 minutes ago. The suspension was lifted.
Right.
So he's got a $50,000 fine, but he's going to be able to play. Okay. And actually, even if he wasn't suspended, I think Ed Reed's awesome. But this year, sometimes with his shoulder injury, he's had moments where he looks like a baseball player who hits 40 home runs, but also leads the league in strikeouts.
Right.
He'll get a great play, but then he'll also gamble too much, and he's not quite as fast, can't recover like he used to, and he gets burned. So I actually thought that the Ravens, by playing less risky, less big play defense, would have been okay without Ed Reed, but it looks like they're going to have him anyway, so it's a moot point.
All right. Well, there's nothing really else I can say. I think once again, Ravens are the play. I think it's one of the best plays of the week. I'm a complete agreement with you. I think the public's going to be all over them. I think the books are going to get killed with this one.
Me too.
All right. Great preview, Stephen O. from AccuScore.com. We'll talk to you again next week.